Please welcome to the stage Leandro Perez, SVP and CMO, Salesforce ANZ.
Good morning everyone. I've got to practice my what if, Matthew McConaughey. I do like that. Well look, we have an incredible day for you today. In fact, we have quite a unique event for you today because as we were putting this program together, we realized that the pace of innovation is accelerating. In fact, we only just had a large-scale event a few months ago, but so much has already changed. But at the same time, many questions are coming up around ethics, what this means for all of us, equality. So we actually have a world first at Salesforce today. We have an event that's put on together not only by the Australia and New Zealand team, but our Global Office of Equality team. So I'm going to give them a round of applause. They're over here. They've come all the way from San Francisco to partner with us. And what the theme for today is success for all of us in this agentic era. Now, before we get into the program, I do want to thank a whole host of people. Firstly, with all of you. Thank you for clearing your schedules to make time to spend with us today. We hope that we'll give you an impactful day of learning and you'll take many things back to your organization. Next, I want to thank each and every one of our customers. Now, I'm going to ask you to do some participation here, so I know some people are uncomfortable with this, but can I get you to raise your hand if you are an existing Salesforce customer or your business is? Oh, wow, grand. Okay, keep your hand up. Hold on, keep your hand up. Okay, for the folks that don't have their hands raised, look to someone around you. Your goal is to introduce yourself to someone that's got their hand raised. We call these people, you put your hands down now, we call these people the trailblazers because you each are charting a new course in your organization, in your industry, and we really thank you. So thank you for everything you do for us. We wouldn't be without you, so thank you. And last but not least, I also want to thank my incredible marketing team and the Office of Equality. They've done an amazing job to put this together, so let's give them a round of applause as well. All right, well, we started Salesforce, well I didn't, but our co-founders did in 1999, and they had some core values when they started the organization. And actually, they're more important today than they were back then. Let me tell you why. So in 1999, we had this idea of moving things to the cloud. So we were asking our customers to take their most important business data, their customer data, and move it to the cloud. At the time, that was a big shift. Today, we're like, sure, I'll put it on the cloud. But it was a big shift. Most people had on-premise systems, databases, systems that they wouldn't really trust anyone with. Today, most organizations are also asking for you to give them their data. But this time, it's a little different. A lot of organizations are asking to train their product on your data. Now, at Salesforce, your data is not our product, which is why we have trust as our number one value. It's extremely important that you trust us during this agentic era. And it's linked to number two, which is customer success. Your success is our success. We pioneered the cloud subscription model, which means you get the choice every year to renew. And we take that very seriously, and we do that by leading with innovation. Every year, we have 3 major releases every single year, where we release innovations so that you can focus on your business, and we can take care of ensuring that you get the latest and greatest technology. And of course, equality and sustainability for all, which is why we believe the business is the greatest platform for change, right? Like when our co-founders, Mark Benioff and Parker Harris, started the organization, they did something really interesting. They took 1% of our equity, 1% of our time, and 1% of our product and put it aside for nonprofits and educational institutions. Now, it may not seem like a lot, but today, if you fast forward, that's almost $800 million that have been donated to nonprofits and educational institutions, $17 million right here in Australia, almost 10 million hours of volunteering. Every employee at Salesforce gets to volunteer 56 hours every single year to the nonprofit of their choice. And almost 60,000, actually more than 60,000 organizations, those numbers have bumped up, that have nonprofits and educational institutions running on Salesforce for free or at a highly subsidized rate. Actually, do we have any nonprofits here today? You raise your hand? Yes? Let's give them a round of applause. Incredible work that they're all doing. And you can also participate. This is not all just about Salesforce. If you look here, 19,000 organizations have joined us in this pledge, including a little company down the road called Atlassian. They're also doing this. So incredible to have Australian companies doing this as well. Now, that has allowed us to do is to not only do well, but do good. And when I started just over 10 years ago, we were somewhere down the bottom of this chart. Now, it's incredible to see where we've grown. And why is that important to you? Well, you're about to invest in a whole new era of technology, and you want to ensure that the company you're investing in is financially strong, right? But what wakes me up in the morning is not that, even though that's nice. It's actually some of the awards and recognition, like being the most innovative company, being one of the top companies that care, and one of the most ethical companies. And why is that important? Well, that's what brings us to today, right? There are many questions that are being asked today. Now, in fact, I get the privilege of spending time with many of you. We have actually thousands of conversations every single year with customers. In fact, last night, a few of the executives that are here had a dinner with me in our Salesforce tower to celebrate Vivid. Beautiful, by the way, if you haven't gone and checked it out, the showing that we're doing. We do have the most beautiful city in the world. And we had C-suite members come together. It was about 20 of us for dinner. And we were talking about the topics of today. And there were some really persistent themes. Number one is they know the acceleration of innovation's coming, and they're worried, do they have the right talent and the right skills in the employees that they have in their organization? Because we do have a labor shortage here. That's number one. Number two is they're worried because we've actually delivered a lot of technology. You know, some of us that are in the tech firms have provided technology, and unfortunately, the productivity of many of Australian workers has not increased. In fact, for the last decade, it's remained flat. And that's not unique just to Australia, it's actually quite common around the world. And third, I don't know about you, but when I'm a customer, my expectations aren't going down, they're going up, they're rising. And so what that's resulted is you have businesses over here feeling overwhelmed, right? They're not sure if they've got the right staff, they're constrained. Meanwhile, over here, we have our customers. Now, what about you? When I call up booking a holiday or renewing my insurance policy or buying something online, I expect instant service. I expect the thing to be delivered quickly. And I expect the customer that I'm representing as to be known. I've had many interactions with that brand. And that's not because I do have high expectations. And that's not just because of that. My team will laugh at that one. But it's because our expectations are set by the last great experience we had. And it's not just by your category, it's by any category. So if I have a great experience with a retailer like Mecca, one of our customers, I'm in there quite often with my daughter, then I will go to another industry like insurance and I expect, well, why can't this insurance company offer a great experience like that? So there's this huge divide, and in fact, we just did some research recently and we realized that front office staff are spending over 40% of their time on low-value tasks, repetitive tasks. So we started asking ourselves this question about a year ago at Dreamforce, our annual conference, when a lot of this agentic technology came out. We asked, just like Matthew did in the opening, what if? What if workforces had no limits? So what if your sales team could actually spend more time selling versus entering data in the CRM? What if your customer support could actually focus on your more complicated cases versus what's the password or can I reset my address, right? Or in marketing, what if we could actually be creative and create campaigns versus doing the 50th variation of a title for social media? And that's exactly what Agentforce allows. It's the digital label platform for limitless workforces. Now, for all of you that had your hands raised earlier, the best part is it's built on the Salesforce platform. This is not something on the side. This is not a co-pilot hanging off the side. This is right on top, which means if you've invested in building apps, workflows, data sheets, analytics, all of that is directly accessible to Agentforce. And thanks to Data Cloud, you can access not only the data in Salesforce, but to the data outside. And we're going to be talking about what that means, because that's actually a really big unlock in this era. And many of you have some of our Customer 360 apps, sales, service, marketing, commerce. Agentforce can interact with those and leverage those, whether amplifying your existing staff or actually taking advantage of it directly. And across the top, you will see some of the use cases: support customers, generate campaigns, nurture leads. It's truly game-changing. So what this means is we're moving from a world of human-only workforce to humans with agents. Now, you notice I didn't just say agents. I know everyone's freaking out. It's humans with agents. We truly believe that is the great unlock. Now, we believe that organizations that do this, that really lean in, that become agent first, will become Agentforce companies. These are companies that will unlock trapped value in their organization. We have thousands of organizations that have already started this journey. And I think some of you might be thinking, well, what about my industry, Leandro? Will this work in my industry? Well, if you look up here, we have use cases across all industries. So retail, personal stylists for every shopper. Banking, on-demand advisors for every client. Manufacturing, proactive appointment scheduling. We have use cases across every industry. Now, actually, I want to make sure, though, because I told you in the beginning that I was going to get excited about all the innovation. You know, in technology, we all get excited about the technology. But what's also important is some of the ethical questions that are coming up. How are we going to ensure that we have success for all? So next, I want to bring up a good friend of mine. I actually started my journey at Salesforce in San Francisco, and I've seen this executive rise from an incredible, journey. And is a good friend of mine. She's come all the way from San Francisco. She's our SVP, and she is someone that I think is going to not only share something today, but hopefully you connect with, because I know in the dinner last night, many organizations want to continue the journey. So if we can welcome up our Chief Equality Engagement Officer, my good friend, Ali Siegel. Welcome up to the stage.
Amazing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first ever Success for All Agentforce Summit. I am so excited to be here in what I believe to be one of the most beautiful cities in the world, all the way from San Francisco, and here to talk to you all about how we can all be successful in this agentic era. I know Leandro just talked to us about how we are in one of the biggest technology transformations of our lifetime. And in my role, I spend a lot of time thinking about our people, our talents, and what this really means for them. Because we are entering this digital labor era. Generative AI is being adopted at faster rates than the personal computer and the internet. Think about that for a second. And our CEO has said that we are the last generation of leaders to manage a human-only workforce. That's pretty insane. And that's because we are going to have humans and agents working alongside one another. But we know with every technology transformation, there's an important people transformation. And all of us play such a critical role in what that looks like. We know that there is real fear. And fear is founded in truth. Yes, jobs will change. Yes, the skills needed to succeed will change. But let's take a moment to look at some important stats. We know that 87% of jobs now require digital skills. And in Australia alone, we are going to need 156,000 new technical workers. We also know that 39% of workers' core skills are going to change. And 14% of new opportunities are going to be created due to the current technology shift. Personally, I'm an optimist. I believe in abundance. And I do believe that there will be more opportunities than there is loss. But we have to know how to navigate this. Our chief scientist has said this great quote that I love, which Leandro alluded to. The future is not about humans versus agents. It's about humans and agents working together and unlocking their unique strengths. We also have a saying here at Salesforce, technology is neither good nor bad, it's how you use it that matters. It's what you do with it that matters. And that's why at Salesforce, we're very rooted in our values. As Leandro said, we have 5 core values. We have trust, we have innovation, customer success, equality, and sustainability. And this guides us. It guides us in our purpose to make sure that we're bringing everyone along, that people are not being left behind in this agentic future. It's part of why we're all here today. It also is part of our belief that business is a powerful platform for change. So every single one of us in this room, we have the privilege, we have access to the information, to the skills, to the opportunities to succeed in this next era. So how do we make sure that our businesses are helping to make sure we're democratizing that access for everyone? And we know that equality drives innovation. When you have different perspectives at the table, when you include different voices, when we solve for some, we solve for all. So we can unlock new possibilities by making sure equality is centered in this innovation and in this technology transformation. And when we say equality at Salesforce, we mean equal opportunities for everyone, equal pay for equal work, and the dignity of every human being. And our values are going to guide us. We know work is changing, the way we work is changing, and we need to rethink our companies. And so making sure that we're rooted in our values, we also created a framework to help you think about this. We call it the 4 R's, easy to remember. Redesign. Yes, we need to redesign our workforces. And we start by identifying the roles where there's the biggest opportunity for AI to create impact, to help employees do more high-value tasks. So I think we can all think about a role like that in our workforce. Reskilling. So this is where we're going to spend most of our time today. How do we make sure we're helping our employees adopt a continuous learning mindset and create opportunities for them to gain more confidence in their agentic skills? Redeploy. Absolutely, there are going to be new jobs. Absolutely, the jobs will change. But we have amazing talent in our workforces. So how do we actually redeploy the skills that they have for the jobs of the future? And then rebalance. We have humans and we have digital labor working together. It sounds like sci-fi, but it's reality. So how do we make sure we're rebalancing the workforce to manage this new labor? And I like to say, we are future-proofing our talent. We are preparing our talent for the future. And we do that by making sure we're opening up access to the skills needed to data literacy, to AI literacy. We do that at Salesforce through our platform Trailhead, which you all can use. And we also do that by making sure AI and agents are in the flow of work. I have personally found the best way to bridge a fear gap or bridge that confidence gap is to get folks using the technology. When they start to put their hands on the technology, when they start to use it in the flow of work, they see the potential, they see the power, and they start to see themselves in it. So let's talk about the skills of the future. When we think about the skills of the future, we often think about those technical skills, which of course, agentic skills, AI skills, they are going to be needed. We know that the difference between someone who is successful in the future and who isn't successful is going to be those agentic skills. But I think what's even more compelling is that research has found that the more important skills will be the human skills. So this is aggregated from a few different research sources, such as WEF and LinkedIn, and you can see that skills like adaptability, emotional intelligence, storytelling, creative thinking, those are going to be the treasured skills of the future. I think we all can think of as managers, as leaders, these mundane tasks that we don't want to do anymore. Expenses. Does anyone like expenses? Okay, exactly. Finding the information for a performance review or scheduling meetings. Think about if we could free up that time to solve our business's most critical issues. So that's really the power of Agentforce and this technology. And that makes me start to imagine, what is the agent-powered employee experience? Now you have humans and agents working alongside one another. That changes how we think about attracting talent. That changes how we think about engaging talent, retaining talent. And we know our own research has showed that 81% of employees who use AI are more productive and they have better quality of work. We've also seen from our own employee insights that there is a deep connection between inclusion, engagement, and also using AI and feeling empowered to innovate. So there's so much here, we're just scratching the surface, and I'm incredibly excited about the future of employee experience in this new world. Because at Salesforce, we believe we are customer zero. We are here to test the technology for all of you. We are here to make sure that it's trusted, that it's safe, that it's used in the right ways. We're also here to unlock new opportunities with that technology so that we can discover new ways that you can use it. So here are just some stats of how we're using Agentforce within our own company, with 30,000 weekly conversations handled by Agentforce. We also have a sales coach agent, which is very cool, with 25,000 sellers using it, and 700,000 articles indexed by Agentforce, which is such a burden off of our employees. And then on that, right here, you can see an example of our onboarding agent. Our onboarding agent is helping this employee in this example be connected to one of our employee resource groups, Salesforce Women's Network. It's helping them get connected and also offer them opportunities to volunteer for causes that they care about. So this is what I find amazing. Not only is it helping to make our employees more productive, not only is it helping to free up more time, but it's also supporting engagement and purpose. And that's really the power of centering values in this technology and people transformation. Think about how much we can now unlock. So to show you everything that our Agentforce for employees can do, I'm going to welcome to the stage my amazing colleague, Stephanie Snedden. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, thank you so much, Ali. And I get the pleasure of bringing this to life for you. So this is the fun part, guys. And so Ali spoke about what we're doing at Salesforce with Agentforce, but I'm going to take a look at now how some of our customers and how you could start to think about use cases for Agentforce. And so this is exciting. This got announced on the 13th of May, which was my birthday, so very nice birthday present for me. What Agentforce for employees allows you to do, like we're doing for our customers, is create multiple agents within your business with specific use cases depending on the business unit that's using them. Whether it's an HR onboarding agent that Ali just mentioned, it could be an IT agent helping you with a replacement laptop. It could be anything. So really think about this, for the world is your oyster. The power of these agents is that you can equip them with context. The answers and results that it's going to give for user A, depending on their permissions and their user profile, is going to be completely different to the answers that it gives to user B. And this is the context that it's bringing for you. And lastly, you can deploy these agents across multiple surfaces, not only within Salesforce. This could be on web, Experience Cloud. It could also be on Slack and mobile. So without further ado, I want to give a very quick shout out to my amazing demo drivers over here, Josh and Ryan, who are going to help me bring this to life. And we're going to kick things off in Agent Builder. Now you may think, if you've seen an agent being built before, that you've seen this before, but I'm going to actually blow your mind here. This is completely different. This is AI helping you build agents. And we're going to kick it off by starting to explain what type of agent we want. So as a hiring manager myself, recruiting can be quite a daunting task, right? There's writing the job description, there's going through all of the resumes, there's scheduling the interviews, and this can be pretty overwhelming with multiple systems, multiple stakeholders, and a lot of manual steps. Recruiting should be a fun task, right? We're getting new people, new exciting people into our business. We really do focus at the moment on the candidate experience, but what if we could give the same amazing experiences to our recruiters and our hiring managers? So we are going to create Agent Hunter. So Hunter is going to act as our digital assistant to our recruiters. It's going to provide flexible and proactive conversations with both our hiring managers and our recruiters. Now, to help the AI accelerate my agent, all I need to do is provide a name, role, quick description, and assign it a profile, and the AI gets to work. Providing a clear description of all the topics, actions, and instructions related to recruiting assistance. Next up, we know that our agents get smarter when they're grounded in the right data, as Leandro mentioned before. And so I'm now taking away, well, not me, Salesforce, is taking away the friction of those confusing things like data streams, search indexes, and retrievers. Now we have this amazing tool called Data Libraries, which allows you to bring in Salesforce data, as well as data from other systems like your HR systems, your policies, and your other recruiting guidelines. And this can include files, knowledge, or even the ability to search the web. This makes things super simple. So here we are. In just 4 simple steps, we have our agent. No longer do we have to DIY or build it ourselves. And the amazing thing is that all of these tools are available for you to use today. Now, on review, I think my agent has missed something. Our business specifically focuses on human validation of sensitive information, whether it's salary, accessibility, or other confidential hiring decisions. So we're going to add a capability here to make sure that a human is always brought into the conversation when those topics come up. Once again, AI just fills in the descriptions for me with the right prompt engineering. So for anyone that already has an agent built in their business, this makes it incredibly easy for you to add topics to existing live agents out there. So let's now test this agent. And I'm going to start with the spot check in the conversation preview there and ask about drafting an email for a candidate. In the center, this is where you see the agent reasoning engine at work. This is Atlas. What are the topics and actions the agent's using, and how is the response looking? You can actually give feedback in real time now. Is this the response that you were looking for? If not, we can provide that feedback, and the AI will support us on configuring the change and closing the loop faster, which is fantastic when it comes to spot checking, but we are talking about enterprise agents here today. And so I can also do a batch test within Testing Center to make sure that all of our different instructions, guardrails, are accurate before we deploy this agent out in the wild. But right now, I'm happy with this one. So let's go ahead and activate that agent across multiple surfaces, as I mentioned, Slack, Salesforce, and web. And let's see the agent in action now. And what better place than Slack? We want you to think of your agents as one of the members of the team. You're going to be brainstorming, you're going to be collaborating, we're all going to be working together on Slack. And so here I am. I'm in a channel that's directly related to an open job requisition. I'm looking at the candidates that the agent has brought to my attention that have just come in overnight. It's important for me to review all of the details against all of these candidates, but the agent is also providing me a quick summary of their profile and some contents. Now, it is really critical here to maintain humans at the helm at this point, especially when it comes to making hiring and talent decisions. Now, based on the competencies of these different candidates, I think Simone would be a great fit. So I want to go ahead and schedule an interview with her. Now, previously, this would be an incredibly time-consuming task with a lot of back and forth going on. Now, with our agent in the conversation, they're able to work with the candidate, knowing mine and the hiring manager's availability to schedule that interview. But Hunter, I don't think he's going to stop there for me. I think Hunter could do some more for us. I want Hunter to help me out with some interview questions. So I'm going to ask if they could support me with some interview questions based on the job description for this particular role. What this does for me is it gives me a really smooth process with that candidate, and it leads to much more meaningful conversations as well. Now, there's just one more thing I need Hunter's help with. How often, now that we've created our shortlist and our interviews, do we forget about those unsuccessful candidates? Hunter's going to do this one more timely and important task for me. I'm asking Hunter to draft personalised emails to the hundreds of applicants that haven't been successful in this particular process. This takes Hunter moments to do. This would have taken me hours, and I probably would never have done it myself. This creates an absolutely exceptional candidate experience, and it's just the power of how Agentforce for employees can help your business. Just remember that the decision is always with the humans when it comes to our hiring, but all that productivity and admin is handled by our agents. And so that was just one very simple use case that we could use Agentforce. I want you to start to think about the exceptional experiences that you could build for your people within your businesses. Here are some of the templates that we already have out of the box. Plus, with innovation as one of our core values at Salesforce, we are also bringing a number of additional templates in the next few weeks to get you going with Agentforce for employees. So do think about those amazing experiences that you can build with humans and agents working together in your businesses. And so next up, how do we actually bring this to life? How do we get you started with your digital workforce? And to do that, I would love to introduce to the stage Kev Doyle.
Thank you so much, Steph. Those employee agents look absolutely game-changing, and I think something that looks so incredible about it for me is I've been at Salesforce for 12 years now, and someone asked me about a year ago, like, why have you been at Salesforce? That's a long time to be at one company. Like, what's that about? Is it the values? Is it working with amazing customers every day? Is it the snacks in the kitchen? Is it that they seem to give you a fancy badge every other day? Like, what's the thing? And absolutely all of that. But a big part of it is just the fear of starting somewhere new, of you start somewhere on day one, like you don't know where's a good place to get coffee, you don't know where you're allowed to sit, it's a hot desking area, let alone the systems that you actually need to use in order to do your job. Like it takes time to ramp up. Like that fear of starting is so true. And so something and a real unlock for you to think about as you embark on your agent journey is that's what it's like for a human employee, a human workforce starting in your organization. The secret to getting an agent, a digital workforce, live, ready, working as fast as humanly possible is what does their onboarding look like? How do you get them in? What organizational data do they have? Do they have customer data so they actually can understand your company, understand your customers as fast as possible? That is the secret to getting an agent live and fast, and it's ultimately going to be your competitive advantage. Now, the good news is that all organizations have been on this data journey for quite a while now. You know, go back even 5 years ago, the biggest pain point that you talk to any CEO, CMO, head of sales, head of IT about was that all of our data is in disparate sources, the organization is freezing. We have this Frankenstack of data and technology, none of us really getting together, we don't have a single view of the customer. How do we get this in one place? And so we've been on this journey, and you've been working with hyperscalers and AWS and Databricks and Snowflake and these incredible organizations to fix this problem. Now, of course, none of you embarked on that journey just to have data sitting in a fancy data lake or a data warehouse. Like, that's not the end goal. The goal is, well, how do we activate that? How do we do something useful with it? And by doing that, we get all of that currently trapped data, and we untrap and unlock a huge amount of benefits for the organization. 94% of leaders feel their organizations could get more value from its data. And so with Agentforce, we've got such an amazing unlock to get all that data and to start using it to drive your organization forward, to drive better employee experiences, to drive better customer experiences. And so in the era of digital labor, the leading organizations around the world are thinking about how do we get all our incredible data asset and how do we leverage that into action? How do we give that to agents so they can do their jobs, so they can surprise and delight our customers and our employees every single day? This is going to be the major unlock. Now, of course, sounds really easy to do, but you're in the background are going, anytime we do anything with data, it's hard, and it's brutal, and it's painful. Because we've got parts of the organization that they treat this like their baby, and they should be, right? Like, there's been a huge amount of time, data scientists, data engineers, pulling all this together, getting that for my marketing campaign, my sales campaign, my analytics, getting it to my employees. Kev, like, that's no easy task. I don't want to move the data. I've done all the hard work. Why would I have to go and do this all over again? And that is the secret behind Data Cloud. And so Data Cloud, Salesforce product, and what it's about is how do we get all of the energy and effort that your organization has invested into fixing and getting the data in the best possible shape, and how do we expose it to the Salesforce ecosystem so that way all the apps that your front of house live and breathe in all day, every day, the data is in there so they can do their job, so they can do something incredible with. And so there's a couple of things that make this really unique. The first is this notion about bidirectional zero copy. What this is about is all of the data that already exists in your data lake, in your data warehouse, you don't have to move it. With Data Cloud, we zero copy, which means we get it, and we virtualize it in Salesforce, and then all of your apps can do whatever it is that they need to do with it. And once it's in Data Cloud, it's in every cloud, including Agentforce. So on day one, your agent can be exposed to the last 10 years of every single customer event that ever happened, every piece of sales data, every piece of point of sales data, every customer service complaint, every innovation, all of your product notes, anything in your organization on day one, your agent can be trained on in order to make sure that the experience they deliver is world-class and your ultimate competitive differentiator from day one. So if we think about the slide that Leandro showed before, you know, we've talked about, okay, this is how it works for Salesforce. We've got this incredible Salesforce platform. We're able to zero copy in the data from anywhere in your organization into Data Cloud. Once it's in Data Cloud, it's in every cloud that our team uses. So our service team, our marketing cloud, our sales team, our commerce team, we're all on a single pane of glass in real time. We're seeing the same thing. So everything's moving. This is incredible. We're then exposing it to Agentforce. in any of the use cases you can possibly think of about supporting customer orders or about generating campaigns. Now, that's amazing, but how do I get that and do more with it? I don't want to just think about the Salesforce ecosystem because there's other parts of my business. And so Agentforce has that ability, has the ability to get all of that digital labor and bring it into the flow of work, wherever that may be, inside or outside of Salesforce. So yes, you can count on Agentforce to take action in CRM, whether it's qualifying a lead, whether it's creating a campaign, whether it's doing all of the just time-intensive stuff that your current team is doing. Yes, Agentforce can help with that. But what it can also do via MuleSoft is we can get this and we can push it anywhere. Agentforce works where you work. So that may be processing a refund in SAP. That may be activating a subscription in Snowflake. That may be onboarding a brand new employee like Kev in Workday to tell him, hey, mate, here's actually where the best coffee is. Is there anything else that you need? Yes, where can I get some sugar at 3 p.m.? Thank you, Workday. And so all of those things Agentforce can do because we're able to get all of the data that sits anywhere in your organization. We're able to expose it into Data Cloud. And once it's in Data Cloud, it's in every cloud, including Agentforce. We can then take action anywhere across your organization, wherever your employee or your customers or your partners or your stakeholders are and where they live. So that was the wow. This is the how. This is how do we actually do this. And we've got an awesome campground outside. We've got demo engineers. You can go see this for your industry, see this for your business, ideate, and an amazing schedule today where we can build this all out for you. But how does this actually work? And so I've got an example here of a proactive and a reactive instance for Agentforce. So it may be a conversation. It may be that I go into something like Slack and I ask Agentforce, hey, I need to print something out in color. What floor in our office has got printers? Or it could be, hey, I'm currently recruiting for a brand new head of sales. How do I create a job panel? What does a presentation look like? And so I can do all of those things. It could be a customer coming in with a service complaint or a service issue, and once it gets that, it can then kick off. But the other thing it can do is it can be 100% proactive. And so it can look at any trigger or any flow in order to kick something off. So I've got an example here of a customer's Wi-Fi router frequently disconnecting. So this customer is going to call me up, and they're not going to be happy with me because they're saying, your router's broken, what are you doing? This is costing my business money. Instead of waiting for that angry call, we can actually have a proactive engagement with this customer. So great, we're getting this signal. We have a customer whose Wi-Fi router is disconnecting. We're then going to bring it into the Atlas Reason engine. This is just like a human brain works. And so I'm able to get a signal, and I'm able to think, the agent will think, okay, I've got this customer, I've got all of their products that they have with Salesforce. I have all the history they've ever engaged with our company on. I'm also able to see every other case that's looked like this previously. Okay, I'm able to think about this. I think I know the right action. Step one is I need to actually see every other thing they might have. I'm going to check the other devices in case I think there's something wrong here. You know what? I can't fix this on my own. I need to send a technician out in person. So I'm going to trigger out a smart care agent. I'm going to ping this customer. Hi. We notice that your Wi-Fi is frequently dropping. Let's schedule a service call, what time works, and it's going to look at all of the people that are near them, all of the different service agents. It's going to look at their diaries, and it's going to say, these are all the various times. Thanks. Thursday at 9 a.m. sounds great. So I'm able to turn what could have been a reactive customer service issue with an angry, high-value customer into a proactive moment to surprise, to delight, to drive better customer engagement, to drive better loyalty. And these use cases can be across any facet of your organization. So incredibly powerful. And so let's hear from a customer and how they're using it right now. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome back up Leandro. Thank you, Leandro.
Good job, Kevin. Love it. All right, folks, you've heard a lot today. You've heard from us, you've seen some films, but now, as Kevin mentioned, we do actually want to welcome to the stage Katie Climo, Head of Global Institutional Distribution at Challenger. Let's give her a round of applause. Thanks, Katie. All right, Katie. Well, for the folks that don't know about Challenger, do you want to just give us a little quick background?
Sure. So my role is head of global institutional distribution. So that's a fancy way of saying I look after a sales team. We work with a really big range of investment managers, so about sort of 20 different investment managers, and we distribute their strategies globally to really large clients. So an example in Australia would be a large superannuation fund. Probably everybody here has a superannuation fund. You're invested in one of our investment managers.
Fantastic. Well, Katie, you're one of the people I mentioned before, a trailblazer. So you've actually deployed Agentforce. Tell us a little bit about, what led to that? What was the pain you were trying to solve?
Sure. So, I was not at all surprised to see that 41% stat about admin.
Repetitive tasks.
Yeah, really painful. And it's funny in sales, it's such a big relationship job. The value add of that is that relationship that our team have with our clients. But they spend at least 40% doing admin tasks, which are really low value tasks. So, I learnt today as well, I've been using Salesforce since it was 5 years old.
Wow.
So I've always been a big advocate of Salesforce because it supports our sales process. And when I saw sort of the Agentforce option, I just saw all of these use cases. And so we managed to sort of secure a pilot of Agentforce, and we've been able to use it to deploy something that we call client summaries. So we want to be able to share information in our organisation, get those data insights. And sometimes it might be, our CEO saying to me, oh, hey, I'm going to go and see this superannuation fund. Tell me what our relationship looks like with them. And, I would sit there for sort of an hour pulling everything together and putting those insights together. Or, one of our investment managers might say, hey, tell me about our relationship with our client that you're looking after for us. And I can't have that data being shared. I need it to have sort of an information barrier. And so what goes to our CEO is very different to what would go to an investment manager. And so now...
Good reason.
Well, that's right. Yeah, we don't want to tell, investment manager A what investment manager B has. So it's sort of a high risk problem as well. And being in financial services, it's a big deal. The data's important and secure. And so now the agent can pull all of that together, and it can do it with those information barriers. So we can sort of say, oh, I want it for investment manager A, or I want it for everything. And it does all of that for us and serves it up to us. And it's just saving a lot of time. But what is also very cool is we've been able to then use the agent to power a portal that the investment managers can use, so they can self-service and ask for that information rather than asking our team. But we know that the agent isn't going to show them something that they shouldn't be seeing.
What I love about this use case is that most organizations have some sort of relationship, and so you're leveraging what's already in Salesforce and pulling it together, and that's the task that no one really wants to do, right? They want to be in front of the human and have that relationship, so very powerful. So you talked about some benefits there. How are you measuring success internally, or what are you using as the justification for the project?
Yeah, so when we looked at the pilot and we looked at all the different use cases, when we did the ROIs, I thought the numbers were actually wrong because they were so big. I thought, surely we're not spending that much time on this stuff.
These are highly paid employees.
Well, that's right, yeah. And, so when we look at it, we go, okay, well, we're only a team, and we're a small team, we're sort of 14, 15 people. But if you say, okay, that was an hour a day, or that was half an hour a day, and it's for this one thing, and then you times that out, you actually arrive at a full, highly paid FTE really easily. And it's just one task. It's not the full 40% that we could be kind of leveraging.
Incredible. So that's one client summary, I guess, would be the use case. What are some other use cases that you're thinking about coming up next?
Yeah, when I sat down with our IT partners, they had to sort of tell me stop, because I got really excited and wrote all of these use cases. We can see this throughout our whole sales process. So if you think about, tracking opportunities, engaging with prospects, writing up meeting notes. Writing up meeting notes is so boring.
But you have to capture them, though, right?
Well, that's right.
Regulated industry.
Yes, we do, and we need it just for the sales process. So, we're recording that in Salesforce. Making the next steps, doing the next steps. I spend time looking at our pipelines and then going to each team member and saying, oh, shouldn't this opportunity be in this stage? Why is it in this stage? But the agent could actually be doing that. Like, hey, here's what happened in the meeting. Here's the follow-up for the meeting, and here's what you should have done with your opportunities. Yep. And then once the client's, won, and it goes from a prospect to a client, think about the service side of things. So we're sending statements, we're doing quarterly reports, we're doing meetings where, again, you could be transcribing the meeting notes. It just sort of goes across everything.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, we just heard Kev come up and talk about Data Cloud. And so how are you seeing, obviously, that would augment the use cases that you're able to not only just tap into Salesforce, but other data. How are you thinking about that as well?
Yeah, and when we went through all those use cases I mentioned, we split it out, and IT sort of said, these are the ones you need Data Cloud for, and these are the ones you can do on their own. So we went with the original one, just really quite a simple one. But Data Cloud just makes it all more leverageable. So, another example, we have a whole lot of PDF documents of our legal agreements, just sitting in folders. And Data Cloud means that we could then, be asking agents questions about our legal obligations.
Unstructured data, right.
And what we need to do. Because if we have a person that changes in an investment manager, we need to go back and check all of them to find out what our obligations to the client are. So if we could link all of that up together, we could ask the agent rather than spending hours reading through legal documents.
I love that. Now, we're almost sort of at the close here, but we've got a captive audience. You've been on this journey, you're blazing trails, and look, you've had to have some internal things to get through to get there because, this is new. What advice would you give to everyone in the room who maybe are getting started on this journey or, are already on this journey and, things you've learned?
Sure. I think one of the most powerful things for us, we use Salesforce across our business and there's much bigger teams than my teams using it. But because we're quite a small team, we have large clients, but not that many of them. We're kind of this discrete team. Our data's pretty clean. So we make really good guinea pigs. And so, I've probably always put my hand up. So I think, yes, you need a trailblazer, it helps. But also, when it is a discrete example, it helps with risk and compliance. It helps sort of being able to test new, slightly scary technology, but with some boundaries and with some limits. And also we started with the internal use cases as well. We haven't sort of gone out to clients and put it into the wild. So,
sage advice. Folks, let's give a round of applause. Thank you for sharing your use case. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, folks, we're almost to the conclusion of this opening keynote, but I think I want to leave you with a few tasks. Number one is that you've probably heard a whole bunch of things today. I'm sure your mind's been opened up. And so to capture that, we want to make sure that we bring everyone along on this journey. So we're actually introducing something brand new, actually announcing for the first time in Australia, is Agentforce. We want you all to become Agentforcers. And to do that, you need to go onto trailhead.com. It's a free, fast, and easy way to learn everything Salesforce. But actually now we've got these 3 tiers of ways that you can learn about agentic AI. So actually at Salesforce, there's a little customer zero example, like Ali mentioned. We're asking all of our employees, all 80,000 of them, to become level 1 champions, regardless of their role at Salesforce, which will just get you familiar with the technology. As you get to level 2, you start to understand how to implement it. And as you get to level 3, you understand how to make more complicated use cases work across an organization. So I recommend you to all check that out. When we come next time together, maybe we'll have some little pins or something. I know the team love giving away some gold pins for each status. With that, folks, I'm just going to roll a little film. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.
So, who are the Agent Blazers? Well, now that's a story. Trailblazers. They've led the way. People who saw a mountain and said, hey, I'll climb it. People who saw a challenge and said, hey, let's solve it. They were pioneers, innovators, visionaries. But today, something new is on the horizon. It's not just about blazing a trail anymore. It's about building a world where humans and digital agents work together, where empathy meets efficiency, where intelligence is autonomous. We call them Agent Blazers, a new breed of problem solvers who cut through the shiny hype of AI and answer the real question of what AI can actually do. What if workforces had no limits? What if customer service could feel like a conversation with an old friend? What if businesses could make smarter decisions in real time? Agent Blazers see the future not as something that happens to them, but rather something they can create. Now look, we've been dreaming about agents for years. We've seen them in the movies, robots, avatars, futuristic assistants, but this is different. This is real. Agents who learn your business. Agents who know your customers. Agents who can take action right when you need it most. Agentforce is about empowering people, freeing humans to focus on what really matters. Yeah, our stuff, And the best part? The admins, the developers, the dreamers in the Salesforce ecosystem, you're the ones turning this vision into reality. Because Salesforce didn't just build this platform to automate tasks, no. It was built to empower you and people like you to become agent blazers. So, who are the agent blazers? You are the agent blazers. And the really cool part, the future, it's already here, right now.